Hello and good day, WordPress developers and enthusiasts. This is Ray Easton with Reason Hosting. Welcome to today's video, WordPress server setup. In this video, we'll run through a quick WordPress server setup using cPanel and Softaculous. So let's get started. So we're using cPanel today, which is on our shared hosting server. There are many ways to install WordPress on VPS, managed hosting, and also cPanel, but we're using cPanel today simply because it's easy to use, and then in our later videos we'll visit the other options. So once we're in cPanel, I like to use Softaculous. So we're going to go ahead and click Softaculous. We're going to find WordPress and then click Install. And then once we're in Softaculous WordPress installer, our menu is going to look like this. If you are on a different hosting platform, it may look a little bit different. We're going to go ahead and select our domain, and we're going to set it up today on stage.reasonhosting.com. I'm going to select HTTPS because I have an SSL certificate installed on this server currently. If you don't, use the HTTP version. If you want to use the HTTP S or non-S www version, make sure you always use that version, even when you're setting up your Google Analytics and your Google Search Console, because Google likes consistency. But for today, we're going to go with the non-www version. We're going to leave the version the same here, leave it as default. For site name and site description, we're going to go ahead and leave that as default because we can change it once we're inside the setup. For admin username, you can leave the default or you can change it to something a bit more meaningful. I recommend not using the name admin, administrator, the name of your website, or anything easy to guess. For the admin password, you can use the password it gives you, or you can generate another one, or you can add a password. For your admin email, you can leave the email that's there if it's suitable. If not, you can change it to your actual email. We're going to scroll down a little bit more, and under select plugins, I'm going to disable this simply because these are some options that the hosting provider has as part of Softaculous, and I just want a regular WordPress installation. Down here under advanced options, we're going to click the plus to branch it open. As you can see here, it's going to already create the database, which is great, which is why we use Softaculous for easy peasy setups and installations. I'm going to deselect auto upgrade plugins and themes simply because I like to control when the plugins update myself and when the themes update. We've got our table prefix here, which gets inserted into the wp-config.php file. And then I'm also going to select do not auto upgrade, simply because I like to know when a platform or WordPress has been updated. That way, if anything goes sideways or WordPress crashes, I know when, and then I can revert. Scroll down a little bit more. We've got the install button, and we've got the email installation details too. So you can put that email address in there, and then when you click install, it will send you notification that the WordPress installation has completed. Now, with that said, if your particular hosting provider does not have PHP mailer installed for sending website notifications via the PHP server, you will not get this email sent to you. But if you're using a web hosting provider that does have the PHP mailer enabled, then you will get the installation details. So I'm going to go ahead and click install. It's going to take a few moments for it to install. It says 3 to 4 minutes, but unless you're on a really slow web host, it should complete in under a minute. Okay, so as you can see here, if everything went great, you'll see congratulations, the software was installed successfully, yay. This first link here is the actual front end of WordPress. And if it installed correctly, you'll see the screen. If it did not install correctly, you may have a number of issues, including SSL issues or something else went sideways. So we're going to go back here and we're going to click the administrative URL, which is going to log us right in without the username or password. And as you can see, voila, like magic, we're in WordPress. So what we can do to let us know the version of WordPress, and then they'll have these items here on the desktop. You can go ahead and safely click dismiss. And then what we're going to do is, one of the things I love to do first is I love to like move over, click up here or hover the mouse over my blog and then click visit site. Right. And we did that before, but I love to just make sure it's loading. Now this is the default WordPress theme, which is the 2025 because we're in 2025. And then it'll have the last two on there, 2024 and 2023. So one of the first things that I like to do after visiting the blog page is to go down to tools, or excuse me, settings, and then go to reading. Okay. And since we've just installed this server, we're going to go ahead and deselect or select this box that says discourage search engines from indexing this site. So we're going to click save there. And what that should do, it should stop the Google bots and the Bing bots and all the search engine bots from crawling this site while we are working on it. That's the intent. As it says here, it's up to search engines to honor this request. Okay. The next thing I like to do, I like to go to permalinks. And as you can see here, the permalink structure kind of controls how the website handles pages, including blogs. By default, it's going to be on day and name. So when you create a blog post, it's going to say something like, whatever your domain name is. Mine says stage.reasonhosting.com / it's going to have the year, the month, the day, and the post. Now, if you're like me, you don't want the day, the year, and the month to be relevant to your post, because when people see this online, they may think, oh, that post is old. Let me not click on it, right? Some of the other options here are you never want to use plain because it's going to put the post ID there, and that's not meaningful. Month and name simply gets rid of the day. Numeric, we don't want to use. Post name is always great to use, simply because it'll do stage dot or whatever your domain name is / the name of your post, right? And then you've got custom structure, which if we reload this page, the custom structure basically does what this was doing up here: year, month, date, and post name. So I recommend post name simply because it's going to give us that domain name with the post name that we create when we create a post, which we'll talk about in later videos. After you select post name, go ahead and select save changes, and voila, we're done there. The next thing we want to do is we want to go to general, right? And as I said, when we first installed WordPress in Softaculous, you could change this information here, the site title and the tagline, or you could change it once we get into settings and then go to general, and then you could call it something like reason hosting stage or whatever you want to call it. The tagline here, you want to create something that's meaningful to your brand name. So we'll call it reason hosting WordPress setups. That's just an example. You actually want this tagline to be something that includes a keyword that you've done some research for as far as SEO wise, something related to your brand. You want it to be something meaningful and short, right? For site icon, we can select an icon that will replace this little WordPress icon guy up here. So instead of it being the little world, it'll actually be your whatever your icon is or your image. Make sure it's at least 512 by 512 pixels. The WordPress address, I would not change these unless you've got your WordPress address URL at one location, but your site address is different. We won't get into that today, but I recommend leaving these the way that they are. For the administration email, you can change this if you didn't change it in cPanel, but take note that it's going to send a confirmation email to your email address. Now, if you have the PHP mailer installed, as I said before, you will get notification of that update, and you'll be able to update the email address. If you don't, you'll have to install a plugin for sending emails, which we'll get into later. Another thing I want to take note of is here for language, site language. If you're English United States, leave that default. For the time zone, you can leave this as UTC. I recommend changing it to something a bit more meaningful. I am on the West Coast in California, so what I would do is I would change it to America, Los Angeles. Okay, and that way the time date actually will adjust, and it'll be more meaningful to your location. So when you create blog posts, those blog posts will have a more meaningful time date stamp on them. We'll go ahead and we'll click Save Changes. And as you can see, that information is saved there. So yay. One other thing before we bring this to an end, because this was just a server setup site, what I recommend is when your site is brand new and you're still working on it, you don't want people going here and seeing this, right? You really don't want them to. So what we're going to do is you change this under, we go to reading. By default, WordPress displays the latest post because WordPress originally was blog software, and so it's a blogging platform by default. And as you can see here, it's blog. If you click blog, it would take you to the blog page. So what we want to do is first, before changing this, we would select set a static page for the home page and also for the post page. Now, this sample page is an actual page, but we don't have the post page actually created. So what we're going to want to do is go to pages up here, and then we're going to click, if we go to all pages, as you can see, there is no blog page. And if you know, sometimes when you go to a website, you'll go to a website and it'll have blog at the end, right? And as you can see here, it'll say page not found, right? So what we want to do is we want to solve that, and we want to add a page. We'll go ahead and just click X if that pops up. We're going to call this page, simply call it blog, right? Just blog, nothing else. Don't add anything. Don't change anything. And then as you can see here, the slug, which is going to be the name of the page, is going to be called blog. We're going to click publish, click publish again. And as you can see here, when we go to that URL now, it's going to actually be now a blog page where you actually have the blog, where your blog pages are going to, where their home is going to be, right? And now if you want to, you can go back, and now that slug says blog, you can put something like our blog, right? And when you click save, the name will stay the same, but when you go now to the page, it'll say up here at the top, our blog, but the blog page slug will just still be blog. Very important. So what we want to do is we want to go back to our reading section. Going to refresh this page. We're going to click set a static page. For the home page, we can say the sample page. For the post page, we're going to now select our blog, and then we're going to click save. And what this is doing is it's telling the site, now I have a static page, which is this page here, which was a sample page, but then I also have a blog page, two separate pages, right? So now we have our first page, our first two pages, yay. And last but not least, what I recommend is setting up a maintenance page. One of the plugins that I love to use, and I'll include this in the video at the bottom, is cPanel. Okay, and so we're going to click install. We're going to click activate. We're going to click get started. We're going to leave this. I recommend changing your email address to something more meaningful, to an email you actually get. Now it says, what do you want to set up first? A coming soon page, a maintenance page, set up a marketing landing page. I recommend setting up a coming soon page, right? Where it's, and down here where it says help make cPanel better for everyone. If you want to contribute, leave that selected. I'm going to deselect it for this video. We're going to click save. And then it's going to ask us the type of page we want. Now you can select any of these pages here. Some of them are free, like these are free. And then some of them are pro versions, which you'll have to upgrade to. This one is very simple, coming soon. And that'll be presented on your home page. And then we've got this one here that says get ready. We're working on something really cool. I kind of like this one. So it's up to you. You can choose whatever you want to. I'm going to choose this top one here simply because, as you can see here, we don't have to edit any URL or anything like that. Whereas with this one here, we'd have to go in and then set that up and edit that. If you just want to get it set up really quick, you can just choose this one here. It's going to say selected. Hooray, you've got it set up. Click finish. Let's not install any other active or any other plugins or activate anything else. All right, so we've got our home page set up. So let's go here to landing pages, and we're going to make sure that it's actually set up. So we did a coming soon page. We're going to click activate. And then as you can see here, it'll say the coming soon mode is active. So what we're going to try to see if it'll show us is if that home page actually, if it actually shows. If you click preview and you get this error here, you may have to go in, click edit. You want to make sure you can leave this default. This is very fine to leave it default. You want to click save, make sure it's on published, preview, and more times than not, that will work. If it does not work, I've noticed sometimes you have to turn this off. You have to click add a new landing page. You have to do it again. Don't ask me why. We'll call it coming soon. Page settings, make sure coming soon and coming soon is there for the slug and the title name. We must click publish. Click save again. We can even click preview. Click X. Make sure the coming soon mode is active. And sometimes that will work and sometimes it won't. If it doesn't work, reach out to me and then we'll touch bases on it. I'll sort of help you troubleshoot that. But sometimes it doesn't show up immediately due to caching reasons. I'm using Cloudflare, so it's possible that it just hasn't populated or flushed. The cache needs to be flushed. But typically that is how you would set up the coming soon page. And that is it. That is how we would install WordPress, get to our dashboard. We configured our site title, our tagline. We changed our time zone. We configured permalinks for post name. We configured the search engine visibility to discourage search engines until we finish with the site. We've set the home page to an actual home page and the post page to blog posts. One other thing, if you want to check with the actual maintenance mode here, sometimes you have to turn this isolation mode off. Click save, click preview. Sometimes that will work. Sometimes you have to see if we click save and then we exit out. And if we preview, yeah, this one's kind of tricky, you guys. It works. I've used it, but sometimes it takes a moment. So I would recommend going into page settings and turning isolation mode on or off and toggling it and clicking save. And if you're using Cloudflare or GoDaddy or any sort of page caching, make sure you flush the cache. But that's it in a nutshell. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming out. Remember to subscribe, click the like and bell. That way you get notifications when we put out new videos. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment. And I will also include links for Seed Prod in the video. Thanks for watching. Remember to visit us at reasonhosting.com and have a great day. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.